What's going on, guys? It's Team for Wafflypie, and we're back from our Kerbal Space program. So today we're gonna do a little bit of a shorter episode. Just get some odds and ends out of the way. We're gonna bring this box up here, and then we're gonna intercept the space plane. So I finally did actually end up getting this up here, and the SAS actually came in very handy because it was a little bit off aligned, and it wouldn't dock properly. And so what I ended up doing was retracted these back two legs, and then I'm gonna go ahead and retract these ones too now. But I retracted the back two so that it only had the front ones supporting it, and then I just used the SAS to like bump it up and kind of almost shimmy up, and kind of like it bounced every time that I pressed S, I believe. And so that actually got it up and fitted on, and it docked surprisingly, which I thought it wasn't going to. But yes, so now what we need to do is bring it up here. And I'm kind of afraid to go up these hills here because on my way down, the brakes didn't have quite enough traction to slow it down, and it actually did pick up speed. Even on this hill, like, this hill is a lot shallower than this. Oh, not that one. Than this one here. And that's going to be the shortest way there, so I think I'm actually going to have to come up over here on this like little tiny part here, and that way that might not even be an idea either. Well, I mean, nice frame right there. We might as well just try for it. Just get going. See if we can push all the way up here. So I do need to control, and so that gives me power over the wheels. And now it's just going to be a matter of, can we push up the mountain? Or, yeah, kind of like the hill or whatever. If not, then I'll just have to reload the quick save and then go up the short way. And if we can, then, well, it saves quite a bit of time, doesn't it? Now, unfortunately, this this big old box, now that I have, flown it for 12 hours, probably not 12, but, probably at least 2 or 3 hours up in the sky and driven it around for another half. I've come to realize it is pretty much the worst thing that I possibly could have made. It's heavy. It flips over for no reason. It has barely any traction on the wheels, even though it has 8. It's hard to slow down when you need to. And it likes to go into a power drift, or like a power slide. And that's not fun when it flips over, let's just say. Fortunately, now we have this advanced SAS, and that should help us combat the roll a little bit, but I don't know. Terrain of this crater is pretty uneven and fairly bumpy. It's probably not the best thing to try and speed up, but we do need to pick up as much velocity as we can if we're gonna get up this hill. I did turn on the traction on all the wheels up to 5, and so hopefully that gives me a little bit better control over it, but yeah, see, we're starting to decelerate already, so that's not good. Especially because we're not even at the steep part yet. Yeah, I doubt we're gonna make this. I should have kept the thruster on. We could add a little bit of a rocket boost going up here. Although something tells me that as soon as we hit this sharp edge there, it would have been pretty disastrous, if you wanted a word for it. So yeah, I doubt we're gonna make it up this, and I mean, this thing is just painfully slow. So I'm going to go around the long way here, and I'll cut that out so that you guys don't have to watch that, because it'll probably take 10 or 20 minutes. So when I get done with that, I will come back. So I'll see you then. Okay, so here we are, 2.5 hours later. That took way longer than I expected. So it turns out not only could we not come up this slope here, or this slope here, or this shallow slope here, we had to actually come up around and pick up some speed on the downhill, and then come up out here and come all the way around. Now, it would have been a lot easier, and now I've screwed up the camera, haven't I? Would have been a lot easier if I had known before that you can overdrive the wheels. And to do that, you click on traction control or override, and then you can set the drive limiter to 100. And then you can see that when you have 8 wheels all on override, you pick up quite a bit of speed very fast. So let's go ahead and start braking, because the brakes are not as powerful. But yeah, so we finally got that done, and we're coming in for the stop. And once we get there, we'll drop off the. We're starting to slide. We can drop off the living module, and then be good to move on from this. Fortunately, this is definitely something that I would not ever want to do again. Especially if I'm about to flip it when we're less than 200 meters away. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just let it spin out for a second here so I can quick save. Now, fortunately, the advanced SAS does help quite a bit to prevent it from from flipping over, but you still have to be careful, because you can't just try to ramp a 20-meter jump, because if you come down hard, you'll still blow up. That's just what happens. So the site of this moon base is fairly level, but it's not great, which is something that I realized with wheels. I'm also not entirely sure what I'm going to do about the orb. I have docking ports on it. Yeah, I do. There are definitely docking ports on that, so chances are I could probably fly it up out of the crater, because I definitely don't want to do any more rover climbing crater walls with the rover. But I could probably lift that out, get a rover down here, and use that to ferry some of the ore that it mines. Although it is insanely slow, I probably should have picked a little bit better of a region to land down in, but this place is fine. Question is, where do I want to put this? And I think that I will put it over here. That is, if I can turn properly. It is easier to turn when you have forward momentum, though. Oh, I had my brakes on. Okay, see there? It tried to tip over, but advanced SAS saved it. Oh, alright. So I guess this is as good a place as any. So let's deploy those. Arm that. Which I think had no impact whatsoever. And now we can undock it. Actually, yeah, that's good enough. We can undock that. And that's going to drop down. Fairly gently, actually. And the pads will meet the ground. And now we want to go back. Oh, we are on the big old box. And we can just roll off now. Maybe. Yeah. Sometimes the brakes you have to flash them. Just make sure that they're still, or make sure that they're in the proper set. Because sometimes it doesn't tell you what they're in. So we can go and park this over here, and also note that I had the solar panel out because when you override the wheels, they do take quite a bit more energy. Okay, so this is the rocket that I built. So hopefully this has enough. I mean, it's a rather bare bones rocket, so hopefully it does actually have enough fuel to get up to the proper orbit. It accelerates very fast. Oh, I guess most of that is due to the solid fuel then. Hey, oh, Kepler's third law, that's about space. Here I am. I've finally detected the space plane, and actually I'm going to turn the music up because I believe that there was a patch a little while ago. It's a little too loud. And it made all the sounds a lot more bearable, and so I don't have to have everything on 1%. Oops, I overshot that a little bit. Oh, standard docking procedure is what I'm gonna pull off right here. Here we are. Nice and docked properly. So now we have full control over it. It looks like it does not have any crew aboard. Nedden was the, he's in here. Yes, there is the drone core. It doesn't look like it has any satellites or anything, but it does appear to have deployed a it does appear to have deployed something else out of it. And that, as far as I'm aware, is not being picked up by the KSC. And so, since there's nothing we can learn out of this, I figure that it's just going to be space junk if we leave it up here, so we might as well deorbit it. So since we have control, we might not want to kick it up like that because now it's unbalanced. Oh, but now that's on a suborbital trajectory, and we're going to want we might want to get Ned and Kerman out of here. If we leave him in here, then he will probably die. So I'll transfer all the fuel over, and then I'm going to get him out of here. And just in time to, before we enter the atmosphere, close the shield. And go prograde. Away. So while this is in the atmosphere, it's going to reach periaps and then pick up. Whereas the Kyletech Spaceplane is not the Kyletech Spaceplane is not going to have such an easy time, and it does look like it's going to crash land in the ocean. Almost at 70,000, and then once we're there, we can readjust the orbit, and then we'll be done here. All I need to do after that is send somebody up here with a parachute and bring them down. So they're there. He's out. Ned and Kerman has made it out of the atmosphere, and now we're going to perform a hard maneuver here. Hard, not as in difficult, but hard as in. So that is going to circularize the orbit and make it a lot easier to dock to. It's in 26 seconds, so we can just time up to that. By the engine. Cut. And then Kerman gets to live in space for a little while. So let's go to the Kyletech Spaceplane, track it, fly straight into the ocean, right next to Space Room 01. Or it could sink underground. Oh, there it goes. Well, that's about it for today. In the next episode, I might go up and save Nan Kerman, and I'll probably start putting together a Duna transfer, so that we can start sending some missions to other planets. But until then, this has been Dean from Wafflypie, and I'll see you guys next time.